All right, Joe, insider secret number 4. You have to have the picture on the box. Boy, you talk about building power.
You know what, Bill? When you really think about it, your kid's college has the picture and they have the plan. The college is going to make your kid take 40 courses and spread it out over 4 years. Each course is going to take 16 weeks to complete. Despite the fact that you could probably learn the same thing for many of those courses in, look, I hate to say this, maybe a 2-day course on YouTube, maybe.
2 days would be stretching it.
Yeah. They're going to, this is interesting. They're going to forbid you to use AI, even though they use it to market their college. And I think you mentioned that earlier, and to figure out exactly how much to offer you in financial aid. Yep. But they don't want you using it.
No, that's cheating if you use it.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
All right, so now look at this. The college has a picture of what they see your kid as. Now, what you have to understand, all right, colleges are not concerned about your kid after that kid graduates. Oh, yeah, I mean, they're going to send out alumni emails all the time asking for more money. But the college is really only concerned about the 4 to 6 years that your kid is there, because that's when they're getting paid from you. And so here's a picture that we came up with, actually Patrick Walsh in consultation with us. He was, instead of using AI, we used PW for this, Patrick Walsh. We went to him and said, listen, here's what we're thinking. And he came up with these concepts. So this is college sees your student, your kid, as an ATM machine. And thanks to the federal government and the loan program, it's an always full ATM machine. It's really crazy. And that's why college prices are so expensive, because it's been an open checkbook. Well, or an open ATM. And what the college wants you to do is they want you to give them your PIN number. Because they're gonna go to your ATM machine every year. Now, Joe, they don't go. You're going to say you're going to take a course in the fall, or you go to our semester in the fall. Okay, does the college collect for that in December?
What's really interesting? There's no credit at college, Bill. You've got to pay the bill before you walk in the door on that first day of class. In fact, there's a number of times when I've had a list that said, please don't admit so-and-so to a class. They have not paid their bill.
Yeah, so we get emails saying, listen, you don't let this person take a test or whatever. I mean, we can't eject them from the classroom, but we can shun them.
Yeah, well, and then you know what? They're not going to eat.
Well, you're not going to get anything from the cafeteria.
Oh.
Your dorm room key is not going to work.
You better bring your sleeping bag.
And you haven't paid in advance. So truly, folks, the colleges see your kid as an ATM machine, and they just want to keep going over there and putting the PIN number in and getting paid in advance. And the semester doesn't go well. Too bad, you've already paid.
Yeah.
All right. So now, what about when they're alumni, Joe? When they graduate? Well, first of all, here's the thing. What do we say, Joe, about that? When you're walking across that stage at college graduation, and you think you hear the sound of applause from the faculty, but what they're really doing, they're just wiping their hands of you, because they've lost interest in you. They turn you over to the alumni department, and the alumni department, here's how they see you. They see you as a slot machine. Isn't that a great picture?
I love that analogy. I think that's such a great analogy. I love it.
And you'll notice on this picture, there's nowhere to put money into the slot machine, because sending emails is free, right? And every now and then, the college hits a jackpot, Joe. That's what they're going to do. So that's where, this is how the college sees your kid. And man, that gives them a lot of power.
It sure does. And you know what? They can be wrong 19 out of 20 times. Heck, they could be wrong 99 out of 100 times. Mm-hmm. They hit the right jackpot, boy.
Now, Joe, here's this is something big. And when we tell people this is big, parents, we mean to tell you, this is really big. Here's the thing. You and your kid need to have a picture of what they're going to look like when they graduate. Too much focus is put on getting through school. Taking this course, taking that course, making sure you do well in that test. And listen, that's important. You want your degree.
Of course it is.
Okay. The degree comes at a very early point in a kid's life. If they go straight through college, I mean, they're 21, 22, right? Right. Now they've got, a long life ahead of them. They need to have a picture. You need to have a picture of what your kid should look like. Now, here's what we did. we went to Patrick and we gave him some ideas and we said, listen, we there's a lot of things we could use for success, big car, that kind of stuff, but we don't know what people want. So we said, let's come up with something universal, Joe, right?
Mhm.
And so, Joe, how would you describe this picture we have?
I love the picture because, it really talks about taking care of yourself so you're in a position where you can take care of others. Bill, neither one of us and so many of the people we know, you don't have to talk about who you help and how you help and so on. But the reality is you've got to be able to put your mask on first so that you can help other people. And maybe that's one of the roles of a college.
Well, it should be a role of a college, but it is not the role of the college in the minds of the college.
No, not at all.
They're not seeing that. So think about this. You get on the airplane, and you see this all the time. What do the flight attendants say? That if, in case of an emergency, an oxygen mask will fall from the ceiling there. And Joe, they don't fall unless there's really an emergency.
That's right.
The pilot doesn't come on and say, it's really a calm flight today, but you never know. So why don't we drop the oxygen mask?
Yeah, I've never seen that happen.
No, if those oxygen masks come down, it's because something bad has happened. So we want your son or daughter, we want your kid to be prepared to face life and all of its challenges. At a college, they pretend that they're going to teach you everything you know, and they really do. They say, "Oh, you need to know these things, and then you'll be good." You need to know how to take care of yourself first and then take care of other people. And especially today, there's so much going on where there's so much based upon a group identity.
Yes.
And saying, oh, we've got to make sure that we help this group and because they can't help themselves. Well, what a terrible, terrible message for a college to be sending out. A college should be teaching people to put their own mask on first. And that should be the picture on the box that you have for your puzzle.
And Bill, we've often spoken about this too. So you can place yourself in a position where you can help others who are in need, especially, those special causes that you deem to be important. And the only way you're going to do that is if you can put that mask on yourself first.
Joe, if you suppose you say, I'd like to help poor people. Every poor person in the world will tell you there's one thing that they don't need more of: poor people. So if you're going to help somebody who's poor, you better make sure you're in a position so you're not poor yourself. You want to help somebody who's depressed. You got to make sure you're not depressed yourself. You've got to be that person who takes care of yourself and learns to make those decisions.
And isn't that part of the puzzle?
It is part of
to develop the kind of person you want to be so that you can help those who you believe need your help. But you got to put that mask on first.
That's right. Now, Joe, we talk about that picture with the person putting their own mask on first. And we each have our own mask here, right? Now, folks, we recommend you get some of these, okay? Because this is a great, again, listen, you need little cues and clues in your life of things that just remind you of stuff. So Joe, I mean, what words do you remember when the flight attendant is telling us to do this?
What words do I remember?
Yeah, I mean, what do they say?
My life passes before my eyes. But they do say, put your own oxygen mask on first and then assist others.
Yeah, and what's people's, if you're traveling with a child or something like that, what if they didn't say that, and actually even after they do say it, like what's the thing? I mean, an oxygen mask falls down. Man, that's big news.
It's scary stuff too, and it's big news and it's important. And like I think you mentioned it earlier too, they're not going to do it to test it out. This is the real thing. If this falls, it's important.
Yeah, and I mean, you want to be prepared in life, and what you want to do is you want to take. Remember, you're trying to build this picture, so you want to take courses in college that will prepare you for all kinds of situations. You know, and by the way, when these drop down, they always say, pull it so it's fully extended. So it starts the flow of oxygen and that kind of stuff. So think about that. These are things you put the mask on. And of course, they always do the thing. But I got this beautiful hair. I don't want to be messing that up. But you put these on. Now, if people always ask us when we're doing this demonstration, is this a real airline?
Yes, it is.
It is. It is. And Maryland, Mass. We actually got these, and we can't tell you what airline it came from,
Yeah.
but if you're going on a flight, don't sit in row 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 7A and B, was it?
Now, all right, now, folks, you heard Joe and I talk about the picture on the puzzle box, and so here we have that picture actually on a puzzle box, and this was my wife Jeannie's thought. She was the one that came up with this. So what we did was we took that picture we're telling you about of the woman putting her own mask on first, and then the child, okay, and we sent it off to Shutterfly, okay, and they actually made a puzzle for us. So this is the greatest thing, and so it's that picture, and here are the pieces. Now here's what you got to think of: all these pieces are all the things your kid needs to be doing at college to build this picture. And this will guide you so that you're not, getting flim-flam along the way with ideas of doing something, try this or whatever. No, your kid wants to, you want your kid and their kid wants to be that person or whatever you come up with. Here's what you want to do. You want to actually get the picture, okay, that you build, and you want to send it to Shutterfly and make some puzzle pieces, and always remind yourself that, a course you might want to take, or maybe an activity that the student should be involved in. All those things are going to build that puzzle.